Wang Chun had a heart condition and died at 41. A marine engineer, a specialist in underwater structures and hydrodynamics. For 20 years, he designed platforms, pipelines, breakwaters. He died right at his desk at 3 in the morning over the drawings of a new breakwater for the port of Busan. Then water. Not the darkness of water, the water itself. Everywhere, all at once. Cold, dark blue, pressing from all sides. The body was not his, younger, stronger, but the lungs were his, and they wanted air. Instinct worked before thought. Arms and legs began to paddle. Up! To where it was lighter. Up was lighter. That meant the surface was close. He paddled. 3 seconds. 5. 10. The light did not get closer. Deep. His lungs burned. Very deep. He paddled more, with the last of his strength. Then something wrapped around his leg. Not aggressively exactly, like a grip. It pulled him down. No! He jerked, did not break free. Darkness below and something was moving in it. Several silhouettes, fast, smooth, not fish, something else. The last air ran out. Reflex inhalation. The body did it by itself. Water entered his lungs. The end. But not the end. Something cold and thick wrapped around his head. Covered his face. Covered his neck. It did not press, it enveloped. Softly, tightly. And air. Not air, something else. But the lungs opened. The body got what it wanted. Panic retreated 1 step. Wang Chun hung in the water. Looked. Around him were creatures. 7 of them. The upper half human, the lower half fish. Scales in the darkness reflected a faint blue light that came from somewhere below. Mermaids. Real mermaids. One of them, young, with light hair like seaweed, held him by the wrist. Looked. Big eyes, not hostile, cautious. They were the ones who had wrapped his head with that substance. Let him breathe. They were the ones who caught him. Wang Chun hung in the water at the depth of an impossible world and thought one thought. At least not a heart attack again. They carried him for a long time. Wang Chun tried to look around, saw darkness, distant blue lights on the bottom, silhouettes of something huge in the depths that was slowly moving aside. Big, very big. Good that it was aside. After a few minutes, the light became brighter. Then an entrance into a rock. Narrow. The mermaids slipped through easily. He was dragged through sideways. Inside there was air. Not water, air. A large cave. The ceiling went upward. Above the surface of the water there were several meters of space filled with ordinary air. Wang Chun was pushed onto a stone ledge. He lay down, coughed, breathed. For a long time. The slime on his head slowly dissolved, dripped down. By the time he stopped coughing, there was almost none of it left. He raised his head. A cave. Large. Lit by a strange, soft light. The source was bioluminescent creatures attached to the walls. Not alive in the usual sense, something in between. Jellyfish-like. They glowed evenly, softly. On the ledges were people, not people, mermaids. But the upper half was human. And they sat, stood, moved like people. On stone ledges above the water. Wang Chun counted about 30 of them. Almost all women. Of different ages. Young, middle-aged, several elderly. 2 men. Both old. One completely decrepit. An interesting ratio. They looked at him warily, not hostilely, exactly warily, as one looks at something unfamiliar that is unclear whether it is dangerous or not. The one who had caught him, the light-haired one, swam out of the water, sat on the edge of the ledge, lower half in the water, upper half above. She spoke, an unfamiliar language, soft, many hissing sounds and long vowels. Wang Chun listened, about the same way he had listened to Drac last time. No, stop. That is another story, another person. Wang Chun Park, marine engineer, not a diplomat. The language was foreign, completely. I do not understand, he said. His own voice sounded hoarse after the water in his lungs. The mermaid fell silent, looked, then pointed at him, at herself. Said something short. You and I, or you are here, or the question, who are you? Wang Chun touched his chest. Wang Chun. The mermaid slightly tilted her head. Repeated. Ji Hun? Yes. Touched her chest? Sail. Sail, he repeated. Something in her face changed. Slightly. The tension became 1 degree less. Names are the first step. the same everywhere. The elderly mermaid, the oldest one, said something from the depths of the cave, imperiously, briefly. Sail answered, explained something, a gesture toward Wang Chun, an argument or a discussion, not aggressive. Wang Chun sat up, looked around more carefully. Ledges in several levels, the highest ones were residential. Something lay on them. Objects, shells, worked stones, something like baskets made of seaweed. There was one entrance into the cave. Through the water, the only one. Cracks in the ceiling. Through one, weak light. Far away, but there. The water in the center was dark, deep. This is a shelter, not a home. A shelter. They are hiding here. This understanding came clearly. They do not live, they hide. Only women and old people. The only entrance underwater, no signs of a way outside except the water. Bioluminescent light is not fire. Fire is visible from outside. This one is not. They are afraid they will be found. The elderly mermaid swam closer, stopped a meter from the ledge, looked at him for a long time, then said something to Sail. Sail nodded, dived, returned a minute later. Something in her hands, dark, shapeless, alive, moving slightly. Handed it to Wang Chun. He took it, reflexively, then looked. A small creature, something between a slug and a jellyfish, soft, warm unexpectedly. Sail gestured, to his head, then to the water. This was what had covered his head there, the slime that let him breathe underwater. The creature secretes it. Wang Chun held the creature. It pulsed softly. Alive. A symbiote. Covers the head, creates something like a closed space. Processes exhaled carbon dioxide? Saturates the air with oxygen from the water? How unclear. But it works. The elderly mermaid said something else, again imperiously. Sail translated with her gaze. To a ledge aside, separate, a little apart from the rest. There. Sit there. Wang Chun stood up, walked to the indicated ledge, sat down, held the creature in his hands, looked at the cave. So I am a prisoner of a tribe of mermaids who are hiding from someone in an underwater cave. I have no language, no weapon, no understanding of the world, but I have a head, and 20 years of engineering practice, which here perhaps is more important than a sword. We will see. For 3 days he observed, it is not always possible to act, sometimes only to watch. Engineers rule before building, study the conditions. Conditions. The cave was larger than it had seemed at first glance. 3 large chambers connected by passages above the water. The main one where they lived. The second smaller one something like a storage room. The third, the smallest, they went there one at a time, not for long. Storage, shells, seaweed, something dried, stones with holes. Primitive. But there are supplies. They think about the future. The mermaids left the cave rarely, in pairs at least, never alone. Returned quickly, afraid of solitude outside. Or, that is the rule, safer in pairs. Food was brought from the water, mostly fish, mollusks, something plant-based. Raw, there was no fire. Fire makes no sense underwater, but the cave is above water. Here, fire would be possible theoretically. They do not use it. Either they do not know it is possible, or they fear that smoke or light will be visible from outside. The elderly one who commanded was called, as he gradually began to understand, Ira. Or something close. She held herself confidently, made decisions. The others obeyed. Sail was young, about 20 by appearance, fast, curious. Approached him more often than the others, looked as if studying. Wang Chun, in response, learned the language, methodically, as people with good memory and a systematic approach learn languages. Object sound, action sound. Pointed at things, waited for the name. Repeated. Wrote on stone with the sharp edge of another stone. Scratches, his own transliteration. Sail understood what he was doing on the second day. Began helping, brought objects. Named them. Waited until he repeated correctly. By the end of the third day, he had about 100 words. Not much, but enough to begin. On the fourth day, Era called him. Sail translated as much as she could, partly with gestures. The conversation was simple, direct. Where are you from? How did you get here? Why are you here? Wang Chun answered as much as he could with the words he knew, gestures, drawings on stone. From above, from another place? I do not know how. Accidentally. Era listened, did not show what she thought. Then she asked something that Sale translated for a long time, choosing words Wang Chun would understand. In the end, he understood. Are you dangerous to us? Wang Chun looked at Era, the old mermaid. Intelligent eyes. Behind them, something long-standing. Weariness and firmness at the same time. She asked the real question, not out of politeness. It is important for her to know. No, he said, in their language. I not dangerous. Then in his own for himself added quietly, I am an engineer. I build. I do not destroy. Era did not understand him, but she perceived something in the tone. Nodded slowly, said something to Sale. Sale to Wang Chun. You are here. Stay here. Captivity, but soft, without chains, for now. After a week, the language allowed him to speak in simple sentences. After 2 more complex ones. In parallel, he observed, gathered information. An engineer does not build in a vacuum. An engineer builds according to conditions. Conditions must be known. The picture formed gradually. The tribe called itself Tian. This word meant at the same time we and here, and something else that was difficult to translate. Something like those who hold together. Earlier, the Tian had been larger, much larger. They lived openly, not in caves in a large settlement on the rocky bottom. Built from stone and shells. Hunted, traded with other tribes through signs, then the Krans. This word was spoken quietly. Children did not speak it at all, adults only when necessary. Another tribe of mermaids. Northern, large, aggressive. Wang Chun tried to understand why they attacked, what they wanted. Sale explained for a long time. Not everything reached him right away. The Krans believed that all water territories were theirs. They did not trade, did not negotiate, seized. Tian, who did not manage to leave, fell into slavery. The Tian lost their men in battles 3 years ago. They defended the departure of the women and old people. Most died. Several went somewhere unknown. Only those who are in the cave now remained. Wang Chun sat and listened. 31 mermaids. 2 old men. 1 cave. Resources limited. The only entrance underwater. Danger outside. This is not life. This is survival on the edge. Long here? He asked Sale. 3 years, she answered. 3 years in a cave. 31 people. Why not go farther? To another place. Sale sadly. No place. Cranes everywhere in the north. In the south, the depth. What is the depth? There live. Sale searched for the word. Big ones. Very big. Old ones. They do not attack if you do not go there. But going far there means entering their places. Between an aggressive tribe in the north and the territory of huge creatures in the south, a small group hides in a cave. A geopolitical trap. Classic. East, west, east open water. There is no bottom for a long time. Cannot live without a bottom, Sale thought. West rocks. Many rocks. There are places there. But the Krans go there too. Sometimes. Sometimes not always. West rocks possibility. Wang Chun remembered. On the 9th day in the cave, he understood one more thing. The slime creatures that the mermaids used for breathing underwater were running out. Not creatures, their resource. The creature secreted slime that allowed breathing, but not endlessly. After several hours of use, it needed a rest. Recover. For mermaids, this was not a problem. They already breathed water. For Wang Chun, it was critical. If the creature was exhausted and did not have time to recover, he would suffocate at the first exit from the cave. Tied to the cave. That is why captivity without chains. He observed the creature. It sat on his shoulder, had gotten used to him. Warm, pulsed. What does it feed on? It must feed on something. He gave it seaweed. It did not take it. A small fish. It did not take it. A piece of shell? No. Then what? He accidentally cut his hand on a sharp stone. A small scratch. The creature reacted immediately. Reached toward the blood. Touched the wound. Blood. It feeds on blood or something in it. A parasite. A symbiote parasite. Gives breathing, takes blood. A deal. Fair by the standards of this world. He called Sale, showed her. She was not surprised, nodded. Pointed to a small old scar on her own hand. They know. This is normal for them. How many times a day, he asked. Morning and evening, Sale answered. A little. 2 small feedings a day. In exchange, underwater breathing as much as needed. Acceptable. Wang Chun fed the creature himself. Every day, methodically. The creature became attached to him, sat on his shoulder, did not leave. He named it Slime. Sale heard, laughed. The first time he had seen her do so. Laughter is a good sign. The 12th day. Wang Chun sat in the far chamber of the cave, studied the wall. The stone was limestone, porous, partially water permeable. That is why it drips from above in some places. This is surface water filtering through. The surface is not as far as it seemed. If the crack in the ceiling is widened, ventilation can be made, air from outside, without exiting through the water. He wrote on stone, his own system, symbols instead of letters, a sketch, then a scream. From the main chamber, not once, several voices at once. Wang Chun jumped up, ran. In the main chamber there was panic. Several mermaids in the water by the entrance, shouting. One was pulling another upward, that one was wounded. The arm was held incorrectly. More mermaids from the water, quickly, frightened. Era commanded loudly, sharply, pointed to the upper ledges, everyone up, quickly. Wang Chun grabbed Sale by the hand. What is happening? Crons. She was pale. Found the entrance. Coming here. Found it. After 3 years, found it. Sale tore herself out of his grip toward the others. Wang Chun looked at the entrance into the cave. Dark water. Quiet for now. They are underwater. Coming through the entrance. How many of them? One entrance. This is the only passage. Narrow. They pass one by one or at most 2 by 2. Bottleneck. Something clicked in his head. Bottleneck. An engineering term. A narrow place through which everything must pass. A weakness or an opportunity. Depending on whose side you are on. He looked around. What is in the cave? Stones. Many stones. Large ones on the upper ledges. Heavy. Bioluminescent creatures on the walls, not weapons. Seaweed. Long. In the storage chamber. Shells with sharp edges. The brain worked quickly. 20 years of engineering work is not calculations. It is a way to see the world as a system. To see where the pressure is, where the weakness is, where the lever is. Sail, he shouted. She turned around. Listen to me. Large stones, as many as you can drag to the entrance. Here, quickly, what are you... No time to explain now. Tell Era, stones to the entrance. I will explain later. Sail looked for a second. Ran to Era. Wang Chun was already dragging the first stone from the upper ledge. Heavy. About 15 kilograms. Barely dragged it to the edge of the water. Era looked at him, then at the stone. Something in her eyes was not agreement, but permission. She said something brief to the others. 3 mermaids took stones, stronger than him, faster. No, Wang Chun stopped them. Do not throw. Place them next to the entrance below the water. There, he pointed, into the passage itself. Sale translated. Lack of understanding. If they enter one by one, the first will come in and run into the stones, the next into him. They will get stuck in the passage, he explained quickly. Sale translated. Era nodded sharply. 3 mermaids dived with stones, returned without stones, dived again. 4, 5, 6 large stones in the passage. A sound from the water, movement, coming, seaweed. Wang Chun was already running to the storage chamber. Long seaweed, strong. They had been woven into baskets, which means they know the strength. Tie, he showed. Many. A long rope. Sale understood at once. Began tying. Fast, practiced hands. A shout from the water. Not Tian. The first cran ran into the stones. But they only slowed down. Did not stop. Delay strategy, not blockage. Time, that is what they bought. A little. What to do with this time? Exit, need another exit. Wang Chun looked at the ceiling. Crack. One large one about 3 meters long. Through it, weak light. How far to the surface? He picked up a stone, struck the crack from below. A little crumbled. Again. Sail beside him. What are you doing? Emergency exit. Help. You cannot go there. It is open water there if the crans are outside. Do you want to stay here with them or leave through the top? Sail fell silent. Began striking the crack beside him, stronger. Her hands were better adapted to stone than his. More sounds from the water. Ira shouted commands. Several mermaids stood by the water with sharp shells in their hands. They would meet them at the water. First line of defense. The crack widened. Come on, a little more. The stone overhead shifted, water rushed in. Cold, salty. So the water surface there is close. The water level outside is higher than the level of the cave. If opened, water will flood in. Bad for me, normal for them. Everyone into the water when I open it, he shouted to Sail. I am with you with slime on my head. Sail quickly to Aira. The first Kron climbed out of the water. Large, powerful upper half. Looked at Wang Chun with surprise, obviously did not expect to see a human. One of the Tians struck him with a shell. He threw her away. Not cruelly, like an obstacle. They do not want to kill, they want to capture. Otherwise they would already be killing. Slavery. They need working hands. Alive. This is an important fact. The second Kron from the water. Wang Chun again at the ceiling. Another blow. Another. The crack opened. Water rushed in. A lot. All at once. The cave began to fill. The crans by the water hesitated. Did not expect it. Everyone swim. Sail was already commanding. Up! Era shouted something. All Tian into the water. Coordinated? They know how. Slime onto Wang Chun's head. By itself. Felt it was needed. Good symbiote. Wang Chun dived into the already rising water. Up to the crack, squeezed through. The sharp edges of the stone cut his shoulder. Painful. Got out. Open water. Blue. Light from above. The Tian already around him. Pulling upward. Well, upward. He swam. With slime on his head. Blood from his shoulder trailed behind him. Not the best moment to bleed in the open sea. But they got out. Surface. Wang Chun surfaced. Tore slime from his head, it immediately settled on his shoulder. Took in air. The sky was dark blue. Evening. Or the permanent color of this sky. Unclear yet. Around open water. Rocks aside. Not far. The Tian surfaced nearby. He counted 29. 2 were missing. 2 remained. Sail beside him. Looked at him. 2 did not get out, he said. Old Rain and Mika. Sail spoke quietly. They swam slowly. The crans will take them alive? Yes, they do not kill, only take. Slavery. Alive but not free. 2 women remained. Era held herself on the water nearby. Looked at Wang Chun. In her gaze something complex, not gratitude. Something greater and more difficult. This person helped us get out, but we lost 2. And now we have no cave. No shelter. Nothing. Wang Chun looked at the rocks. Swim east, open water. Cannot. Swim north to the Krons. Cannot. South, the depth. Dangerous. West, rocks. Sometimes Krons there, but sometimes not always. His right hand pointed west. There, he said. Era looked at him. Why do you decide? She said surprisingly clearly. The first long phrase to him directly. She speaks better than she showed. I do not decide, Wang Chun answered. I suggest you decide. Ira looked for a long time at the rocks in the west, then at the water where the cave had been, then nodded, briefly, imperiously, west. They swam for a long time. Wang Chun was slower than everyone. Slime worked properly, but he was human. Not a mermaid. Different speed. 2 young Tians swam beside him silently. Stayed close, guarding or helping. Era had ordered it. The rocks in the west turned out to be a whole labyrinth. High underwater pillars, narrow passages between them, reefs, currents. Difficult navigation. Hard for the crans, they are larger. These passages are inconvenient for them. Good natural protection. But they cannot live openly here. Need shelter again. Era found a place after an hour of searching. A small bay between 3 high rock pillars. Stone on 3 sides, open water on 1 side. But the passage to it is narrow, through a reef, not a cave. Just a protected place near the bottom. The Tian lay down on the bottom. Quiet. Exhausted. Wang Chun hung above them, in the water, looked at the bay. Conditions. Protection partial. 3 stone walls good. Open entrance bad. Visibility bad for the enemy because of the reef. Good. Food unknown. Need to explore. Housing none. Open bottom. What first? Shelter or food? Shelter. Without shelter, food will not help. How to build shelter underwater? From what? There is stone. A lot. The reef is rich. He sees several colonies of shells on the reef. Large. Seaweed by the pillars. Tools, no. Nothing. This is the first thing needed. Tools. Wang Chun turned to Sail. She was lying next to the others, tired, but looking at him. Sail, he said, I need help. For what? To build. But first make tools. Stone against stone. Do you know how? No, I will show you. Can you help? Sail looked at him for a long time. They had just lost their home. 2 people, swam for an hour. Everyone was exhausted. She was tired. Tomorrow, she said. Tomorrow, Wang Chun agreed. Correct. Today rest. You cannot build on exhaustion. Tomorrow. He also lay down as much as one can lie in water while holding onto a stone. Slime pulsed on his shoulder. Tomorrow another part begins. Morning by the lightening of the water above. Wang Chun woke up first among the 2-legged ones. The mermaids slept on the bottom. They were used to it. He hung by the stone. His body was numb. Sleeping in water turned out to be possible. Not comfortable. Slime had worked all night, so he would have to feed it well in the morning. While everyone slept, Wang Chun explored the bay. Methodically, as one surveys a construction site. The bottom was hard. Limestone. Good. Soft soil is a problem in construction. Stones of 3 types. Soft white crumbles easily. Hard gray better. Dark flint-like the hardest. Flint. If there is flint, cutting tools can be made, like in the Stone Age. Wang Chun was not an archaeologist, but he knew the general principles. Hard stone against hard stone. Controlled flaking. Sharp edge. He found several dark flint stones. Took 2. Struck one against the other. Underwater, this is harder. Water dampens the blow. Need stronger. Stronger. A flake came off. A sharp edge appeared after the 5th blow. Not beautiful, but it cuts. Tested it on seaweed, it cut. First tool, a simple stone scraper knife. Stone Age, but everything began with it for humans too. By the time the Tian began waking up, he had 3 of them. Different sizes. Sail swam up. Looked. You were making them while we slept. Habit, Wang Chun said. What is this? Cutting tool. Look. Showed it on seaweed. Then on soft stone, the sharp edge left a groove. Sail took it in her hands, carefully. Tried it herself. Sharp. This is only the beginning. Today I will teach how to make more. Everyone who wants. Sail looked at him. Why are you helping us? A direct question. Unexpected. Wang Chun thought for a second. An honest answer. Because I have nowhere to go, he said. And because I know how to do what you do not know how to do. If I do not help, why am I even here? Sail was silent. Era will ask you about this too, she finally said. I will answer the same way. Era really did ask. An hour later, Wang Chun answered the same thing. Ira listened, was silent for a long time. You built before, in your place. Yes, large structures, in water. That was my work. Built alone? No, with a team. Many people. Era looked at the bay, at the rocks, at her tribe scattered across the bottom. Almost everyone here is female, she said. We know how to get food, know how to swim fast, know how to hide, her voice even, without bitterness. Just a fact. We never knew how to build big. Men built. There are no men. I am here, Wang Chun said. You are alone. One begins, then everyone. Ira looked at him. In that gaze, something was being weighed. He saw it. She was a leader. A real one. Not by tradition, by quality. Made decisions soberly, without illusions. She was weighing the risk of trusting a stranger against the risk that they would die without changing. Era nodded. Build. We will see. The first task was protecting the open entrance into the bay. The reef partly blocked it, but not completely. An adult crayon could squeeze through the gaps. The gaps needed to be closed. Not completely. Leave passages for their own. Narrow ones. Enough for the Tian. Not for large crayons. The principle was like in medieval fortresses. Gates that are wide for allies and narrow for enemies. But underwater. From stone. Without cement. Dry masonry. Stone on stone without binding mortar. Problem. Underwater stone does not hold the same way. There is no gravity pressing down to the same extent. Everything is buoyant. Heavy stones are needed. Heavier than water. Dense. Gray, dense limestone sinks well. Dense enough, he explained to Sail. She translated to the others. For 3 days they carried stones. The Tian turned out to be strong. Much stronger than they looked. Mermaids are creatures for whom water is natural. They could carry stones of 20 to 30 kilograms as if it were nothing. Wang Chun showed where to place them. Which side? how to bond the layers to place each next row so that the seams did not coincide. This is basic. This holds the masonry together. With hands, without tools, it takes long. Levers are needed for moving large stones. Long, thick seaweed, stems almost like wood. He cut them, showed how to use a lever. The principle of Archimedes, give me a point of support. The Tian watched, tried, it worked. A little mermaid of about 7, named Terry, did not leave his side, looked at everything with huge eyes. Why does it work? She asked. Constantly, Wang Chun explained. Simplified, as much as he could in their language. Because a lever makes a small force large? As if you had more hands, Terry thought. Then, can you make a lever for a lever? Wang Chun looked at her. A 7-year-old child had just reinvented the concept of mechanical amplification. Yes, he said. It is called a pulley. I will teach later. By the end of the 3rd day, the first wall stood. Not high, 1 meter 20. It closed the widest gap in the reef. 2 narrow passages were left. The Tian squeezed through freely. A large Kron could not. The whole group looked at the wall. Quietly. Era swam up to the wall, touched it with her hand. The stone held. Turned to Wang Chun. Good, she said. This was the first approval without reservations. Accepted. A week later, the first problem with food. There was fish in the bay, but the usual prey required going beyond the reef. And beyond the reef was open water. Krons patrolled. Food was needed that existed here, inside the perimeter. Wang Chun studied the reef. There were mollusks, large ones, many, on the stones. 3 kinds of seaweed. Were any of them edible? Sale knew which seaweed could be eaten. Some. Not all. Show which ones. She showed. 3 species out of 7 growing here were edible, but they ate them raw. Tough. Nutritious probably, but fire. If there were fire, to boil, fry. Is it possible to light a fire in an underwater settlement? No, water puts it out. But if an airspace is made, closed. Above water, fire inside, a bubble of air under a stone roof. He thought about it for 2 days. The principle of a diving bell. Air under a dome displaces water. If the dome is dense enough, the air stays inside. Make a stone dome over part of the bottom. Fill it with air. Light a fire inside. How to fill it with air. Sail and the others exhale air. If they dive and exhale inside the dome, it will fill. Slowly, but it will fill. He explained the concept to Sail. She listened. Was silent for a long time. You want to bring the sky underwater, she said. Yes, a small piece. The sky does not live underwater. I live underwater, Wang Chun said. The sky will be able to as well. A little, Sail thought. If it does not work, we will waste stones. If it works, we will be able to cook food. Hot. This is important. Why is hot important? Hot kills sickness and food. Do your old people get sick often? Sail stopped. Yes, both old men were sick twice last year. Hot food will help. Wang Chun looked at her. I do not promise that I will build it on the first try. There may be mistakes. But we will try. Sail nodded. I will help. They built the dome for a week. Stone. The vault was the hardest part. An arch holds because of thrust. Each stone presses against the next. Underwater it is harder to calculate. Water dampens pressure. Stones of a certain shape are needed, wedge-shaped. For an arch, a keystone at the top, a dark flint stone. It can be used to hew another stone. Slowly, but possible. Wang Chun hewed, for hours, smashed his fingers. Calluses on his palms. Terry sat nearby and watched. Why not round, she asked. Why so strange? Because an arch needs this shape. Look, he explained. Terry listened, memorized, he felt it. A capable child? Very. The dome was ready on the 8th day. Small, 1 meter 20 in diameter, about a meter high above the bottom. They filled it with air, taking turns diving and exhaling inside. It looked funny. Several Tian laughed. The first time they truly laughed since the attack. Laughter is a good sign. Always. Air accumulated. The space under the dome was dry, relatively. Flint against flint, a spark. Dry seaweed inside the dome smoldered. Not at once, several attempts. Then fire. Small. Trembling. Almost unserious. But fire underwater. The Tian looked into the side opening of the dome, were silent. Ira swam up, looked inside, was silent for a long time. "This is impossible," she said. "This is physics," Wang Chun said. "Air is lighter than water. Air under the dome does not leave if the dome is dense." "How do you know such things?" "Studied. For a long time. There where I am from." Ira looked at the fire inside the dome. "Can food be cooked?" "Yes, need to make a larger one. This little one is only to show that it works." Ira turned to the group, said something loudly. Wang Chun did not catch everything, but his name sounded several times. Sale quietly translated. "She says that you brought fire underwater. That this is." Sale searched for the word. "That this is very important. That you are not an enemy." Not an enemy. Not an ally yet, but not an enemy. A step. A month in the new place. Much had changed. A month in the new place. Much had changed. Not at once, gradually. As something real always changes. Not in a jerk, but in layers. One day is not like the previous one, but when you look back at 30 days, you understand that this is already another world. The wall by the reef stood, held. The dome with fire worked. Already not 1, 3, different sizes. In the large one, they boiled food. In the small one, they dried seaweed for supplies. In the third, Wang Chun stored flint tools and materials. The Tian ate hot food every day. It is an unnoticed thing from outside. But from inside, enormous. Hot food after 3 years of only raw food is not just taste. It is warmth. It is the feeling that life is not completely impossible. Both old men got sick less often. The elderly one named Dar once swam up to Wang Chun, silently, placed a small stone with a hole on his palm, an ornament along the edge. "What is this?" Wang Chun asked. "Gratitude," Dar said. "That is how we do it." Wang Chun looked at the stone. "Thank you." "You build like a fish swims," Dar said. "Do not think, just do." "I think. A lot. It is not visible from outside. A good compliment from an old man who had lived here for 3 years in shelter." Terry did not leave his side. This became a fact, like the fact that slime sat on his shoulder. Wherever Wang Chun was, she was there too. Looking, asking, memorizing. 7 years old, born already in the shelter, had not seen the open Tian settlement. Knew no other life except the cave and flight. But her head worked in such a way that Wang Chun sometimes fell silent in the middle of an explanation and simply looked. In another world, she would have become a good engineer, or physicist, or architect. Ji, she called him, shortened the name to one syllable because the long one was inconvenient when one wanted to call quickly. Ji, what if shells instead of stone? They are lighter. Lighter means they hold worse underwater. Heavy material is needed, and if shells are inside stone, like filling? Wang Chun stopped. Composite material. Light filler and a heavy shell. This is not nonsense. This is a primitive analog of concrete with aggregate. Where did you get that from? He asked. Terry shrugged. Thought of it. Bad? Good. Very good. We will try. Terry blossomed. Her mother, one of the middle-aged Tian named Nie, once approached Wang Chun when Terry swam away. She has always been like that, Nie said. Always asked. In the cave, there was no one to answer. Now there is. Nie looked at him. You are not afraid to teach her. Why should I be afraid? Men among us did not teach women, Nie said evenly. That is how it was. I did not grow up with you. I have different rules. These are good rules, Nie said, and swam away. One more layer changed. 6 weeks. Wang Chun sat by a large flat stone and scratched on it. A map. Not exact, approximate. But with what he knew. The bay in the center. The rock labyrinth around it. To the north, open water and presumably Cran territory. To the south, the depth. East, open sea. He did not know the west well. Sail swam up, looked at the stone. What is this? A map. Our place and what is around. Do you know what is farther west? Sail thought. We have not gone there for a long time. It was scary. Pause. There are more rocks there than a large plateau, flat bottom. They used to catch fish there, a good place. Then the Crans came there, long ago. 2 years ago. So we stopped. Do they live there or only go there? Sail thought. I do not know. I think only go there. Their settlement is in the north. They patrol. They do not live there. This is a difference. If they patrol, they can be bypassed. Need to know the routes. Can you tell me if someone knows the western direction better? Sale called one of the older Tian. Her name was Vur, a broad-shouldered, quiet woman, a hunter by appearance. Vur looked at the map, added several details with gestures and words, several rock formations, a current from the north that changes direction seasonally, seasonal current, important. If the current changes, that means the Krons change patrol routes. It is easier for them too to swim with the current. It is possible to predict where they will be at what time. Vur, he asked, are you a hunter? Was, she said shortly. In the cave we did not hunt, only gathered what was nearby. Do you want to hunt again? Vur looked at him. Crayons. I am thinking of a way to avoid them, not fight. Avoid. If we know their routes, it is possible. This takes long to learn. There is time. Vur looked at the map, at Wang Chun's marks. Teach me what these signs mean, she said. Yes, then we will talk. 7 weeks. First exit beyond the reef since coming to the bay. Vur, sail. 2 more young, fast, agile ones, and Wang Chun with slime. The principal was quiet. Do not fight. Look, memorize. They swam low over the very bottom. Not in the water column. Along the bottom the silhouette is smaller. Camouflage through reducing the visible profile. Basic tactics that Wang Chun knew theoretically, Vur intuitively. They went west, through the rock labyrinth. 3 hours. Then the labyrinth ended. The plateau opened, large, flat, a bottom covered with small ripples, huge schools of fish. Wang Chun had not seen anything like it in all his time underwater. A rich place. It was clear why the Krons came here. He looked around. The plateau was bordered by rocks on 3 sides. On the 4th, it went into darkness. Not there. If looking at the plateau, it was open. Nowhere to hide inside but the edges. Along the edges, rock protrusions. There is cover at the edges. The Tian can hunt at the edge. Not in the open space. Vur already understood this. Did not wait for an explanation. Moved along the edge, inspected. A good hunter. They spent an hour there. There were no Krans. Went back. Quietly. In the evening, Wang Chun added the plateau to the map. We need a surveillance system, he told Sale. What is that? Someone who watches outside every day. Notices whether the Krons came or not. Which direction they go, he explained. If we know where they are, we will be able to hunt when they are not there. Leave when they appear, Sale thought. It is dangerous to watch them. It is also dangerous to be hungry. And dangerous not to know where the enemy is. Sale went to Era, returned. Era says 2 observers. They change every half day, always in pairs. Good. And she wants you to draw for them what to notice. On stone. Visual instruction. I will draw. Terry appeared out of nowhere. I want to be an observer too. You are 7 years old. So what? So first learn to swim faster. Then observer. Terry made a face, but went to train. He saw how she measured speed back and forth along the wall. Stubborn. That is good. 2 months. Wang Chun spoke Tian fluently. Not perfectly. An accent remained. Some sounds did not come out correctly. Human articulation versus mermaid articulation differs. But they always understood him, and he understood everyone. This changed a lot. Before he communicated through Sale, now directly. With Era, long evening conversations when the group fell asleep. Wang Chun lay by the edge of the ledge above the water. Era in the water nearby. They spoke. Era turned out to be more complex than she seemed. Imperious on the outside, doubting inside. Wang Chun saw this. Not weakness, honesty. A leader who does not doubt is a dangerous leader. Do you think we can return our place? She once asked. The old settlement? Yes. Wang Chun thought before answering. An honest answer. Always honest. Not now. Now there is no strength. But if you grow, if the Tian become many again, if there are tools and fortifications that hold, then it is possible. We are women and 2 old men. Now, yes. What will change? Children will grow up. Wang Chun looked at the water. Terry. 4 more children who are small now. In 10 years, that is 5 adult Tian who know how to build, hunt, understand how the world around them works. Pause. And possibly there will be new ones. If life in the settlement becomes safer, where new ones from? There are no men. There is one, Wang Chun said. Long silence. Era looked at him, a complex gaze. He did not interpret it aloud, simply stated the fact. You are not ours, she finally said. You are from the surface. Another creature. Yes, but you understand us. I try. Era fell silent. Then, unexpectedly, where are you really from? Not from above the water. Where from? I have seen many creatures. There are none like you. You think differently. See differently. Where does such a person come from? Wang Chun looked into the water. How to explain? Another world, another life, death and rebirth. I lived in another place, he said, very far. There were other rules there, other buildings, other knowledge. When I died, I came here. I do not know why. Died, Era repeated. Yes, and live again. Yes. Long silence. We have a story, Era said. An old one. That the sea sometimes takes a soul from a far place and brings it here, when someone special is needed here. Wang Chun looked at her. That is a legend. Maybe, Era said. Or not only a legend. They fell silent. The water rustled against the stone. A marine engineer who died at his desk and ended up in a world of mermaids because someone special was needed here. Probably no worse an explanation than any other. 2.5 months, Terry reminded him. You promised to explain the pulley, remember? A lever for a lever. He remembered. A pulley is the simplest machine. A wheel with a groove. Rope through it. Allows lifting heavy loads with little force, or changing the direction of force. Underwater even more useful than on land. Moving stones without pulleys is slow and hard. Problem? Wheel. A wheel is needed. What to make a wheel from underwater? No wood, no metal. Stone is hard, but grinding it into a perfect circle. A large shell. Spiral. If the outer whorls are broken off, something close to a circle with a central hole remains. Not an ideal wheel, but functional. For several days he selected suitable shells. Worked them with flint. Long. Terry helped. Did not ask, simply took a tool nearby and began doing the same thing he did. 3 days later, the first pulley. Rough, squeaked, but worked. A rope from seaweed fiber Sale knew how to weave. Showed. Strong. Firm. They hung the pulley between 2 rock protrusions above the construction. Pulled the rope through. Ver took the end of the rope. Pulled. A stone of about 40 kilograms rose. Easily. Ver surprised. This. Little effort. The pulley divides the load, Wang Chun explained. 1 pulley makes the load twice less. 2 pulleys 4 times. 2 pulleys, Terry, immediately. First we use 1, see how it holds. Then 2. Terry agreed. Reluctantly. In a hurry. Need to teach patience. Step by step, otherwise the structure falls. With the pulley, construction accelerated. Over the next 2 weeks, they raised the foundation for the second wall. The far perimeter, not by the reef, a little west, creating depth of defense. If they break through the first wall, there is a second. Time to retreat. The principle of layered defense. Basic. But it works. In the 9th week, Nie fell ill. Terry's mother. First weakness, then fever. Wang Chun identified it by the way her skin burned. Then she could not rise. The Tian looked worried. Illness in a small group is a catastrophe, if it spreads. Ira came to Wang Chun. Do you know what is wrong with her? Not exactly. Looks like an infection. Possibly from food, a raw mollusk that was not checked, or a wound that became infected. Can you help? Wang Chun thought. What is there? No medicine. No medicine in the usual sense. What does a marine engineer know about medicine? A little. Basic, lower fever. Infection, cleanliness, and if there are natural antiseptics. Natural antiseptics underwater? What? Some seaweeds have antibacterial properties. Iodine in seaweed. He knew this for sure. Kelp is rich in iodine. Ver, he called. Brown seaweed, long. Kelp by the look of it. Is there any here? Ver thought. There is. Deeper than we usually go. At the southern edge of the reef. Will you bring it? Ver left. Returned half an hour later with an armful of dark brown, long seaweed. Wang Chun into the dome with fire. Hot water. Seaweed into the water. Boil for a long time. A dark, bitter decoction resulted. Laminin, iodine. Not an antibiotic, but it helps the immune system and cleanses. Brought it to Nae. She looked at the dark liquid. Will this help? I hope so, honestly. I do not promise, but it definitely will not make it worse. Nae drank, grimaced, bitter. Drink in the morning and evening, hot. He himself sat next to Terry, who did not leave her mother. Terry was silent. For the first time in all this time, she did not ask questions. Wang Chun sat nearby. She will get better, he said. Are you sure? An honest answer. I will do everything I know how to do, he said. That is more honest than certainty. Terry looked at him, nodded, slowly, like an adult. On the third day, the fever fell. On the fifth, Nia got up. Era came to Wang Chun. The seaweed helped. Most likely, yes. Plus hot drink. Plus rest. How did you know about the seaweed? Where I am from, this is knowledge, not a secret. Wang Chun looked at her. Ira, we need a place to store such seaweed. A reserve, in case of illness. This is important. We will make it. And also, everyone who works with food, clean hands, sharp shell edges after fish, rinse them. A small wound that is not cleaned can kill. Era listened. We did not have such rules. Now we do. Sanitation, the simplest. The most invisible, the most important. Ira gathered everyone, explained. Not as a request, as a law, a good leader. Understands that accepting the new is more important than preserving the old for the sake of tradition. 3 months. The scouts returned ahead of time. That was a bad sign. Always. A young Tian, Ria, 18 years old, fast as an eel, flew into the bay through the narrow passage in the reef. Crayons, she said. Many. Coming in our direction. Not a patrol. A group. How many, Era? 20? Maybe more. 20 against 31. But crayons are fighters. Tian are not. Wang Chun quickly to the map. They are coming from the north. Through which route? Where were they coming from? From which side of the rocks? Ria showed. The northwestern passage. The only convenient one for a large group. The walls by the reef hold. But 20 crayons can go around the reef from the other side. The reef is not completely closed. There are gaps. How much time? Half an hour, maybe less. Little. Everyone into the water. Take only what is necessary. Wang Chun was already thinking aloud. The second exit through the western passage is narrow. Crayons cannot pass. Tian freely. Leave again? Ira spoke evenly. But there was something in her voice. 3 years of flight, then 3 months of building, and leave again. No, Wang Chun said. Everyone looked at him. Not leave, but part leaves. Era waited. Children. Both old men. Nai is still weak. They leave through the western passage. Ver leads them away. She knows the route. The rest here. What to do here, Sale said. Defend, not fight. Slow down. Wang Chun looked at the walls. Cranes want to capture, not kill. That means time works for us. The longer we hold, the farther the children and old people will get. Era turned to the group. Ver, children and old people west. We meet at the far rock. Ver was already taking Terry by the hand. Terry resisted. I want to stay. You go with Ver, Wang Chun said strictly, but... Terry, listen. He crouched, looked into her eyes. You are 7 years old. You are more important than this battle, understand? I do not understand. You will build further after me. You are the future. The future does not die in a battle for the past. Go. Terry looked at him. Something in her face broke for a second. Completely childlike. Then she gathered herself, went with Ver, looked back once. Wang Chun nodded. 20 crayons at the outer reef in 18 minutes. Wang Chun counted time by his own breathing. Approximately, they see the wall. First time they see that the Tian had built. This will slow them, not stop them. He saw them through a gap in the reef, larger than the Tian. Noticeably, the tail fin wide, dark, movements powerful, confident, used to not being resisted. 2 swam up to the wall, touched it, studied it, trying to understand how to dismantle it. Ira quietly. Do you have something that can be thrown? Heavy? Stones. We will not hit much. He thought quickly. Sharp shells. If they come close, they cut. We know. They know. Good. The main thing is not to go beyond the reef. Hold the passages, they must squeeze through one at a time. There is a bottleneck again. The same physics as in the cave. One entrance, one enemy coming out at a time. Can meet them. Akron began dismantling the wall. Strong. Stones flew away. 3 days of masonry in 8 minutes. But behind the wall was a second one, and a narrow passage. The first Kran squeezed through the passage in the reef. 2 Tian met him with sharp shells. He was larger than both of them, but there were 2 of them and they were waiting. He was alone and had only just squeezed through. The Kran retreated. Surprised, the Tian had never resisted. They were used to easy prey. The second Kran, another passage. 2 more Tian, holding. Wang Chun stood a little behind. He was not a fighter, he knew that. His role was to see the whole picture. We hold for 15 minutes. Vur with the children is already far. 20. Safe. He looked at the crans outside the reef. They are conferring. They did not expect resistance. Deciding what to do. The largest one swam up to the passage. Commander. Looked at Wang Chun through the reef. A human among mermaids. This clearly surprised him. Said something. In Kran, an unfamiliar language. Wang Chun did not understand. Sail nearby quietly translated. He says, give up the human. The rest leave. They need me. Not the Tian. Why? A human from the surface. Rarity. Value. Or they saw something built. Understood that the Tian did not build this. Found the old cave with the destroyed dome. Do not give me up, Wang Chun said. Sail looked at him. Ji. If they take you, they will let us go. Maybe. Or maybe not. They will simply take everyone later when they return with a larger group. Wang Chun looked straight ahead. We hold another 10 minutes. Then Vur with the children will be safe. Then we leave through the western passage. Everyone, Ira heard. 10 minutes. Struck the water with her hands, a signal for everyone. Hold. The crans pushed against the wall from outside. Dismantled actively. It would not hold long. The wall is about to fall, Wang Chun to Ira. When it begins to collapse, everyone withdraws to the western passage. On the signal. What signal? I will shout water, we leave. A simple signal. Cannot be confused. The wall cracked. The first large stones went. Water. Tian into the western passage. Quickly, coordinated. The Krans broke through the fallen wall. But the Tian were already in the passage. The passage was narrow. A Kran could not fit through. Era was the last through the passage. Turned back for a second. Krans at the entrance to the passage. Angry. But they cannot enter. Era said nothing, just looked. Then swam away. Wang Chun last. Squeezed through the narrow passage. Scraped his shoulder again. The same side as last time. A pattern. Swam out on the other side. Darkness, rocks. The Tian waited a little distance away. No one remained. All alive. All alive. They found Vur and the children at the far rock. As agreed. Terry saw Wang Chun, swam up, silently. Pressed her forehead into his shoulder. He placed a hand on her head. Alive. Everyone gathered, counted. 31, all. Ira spoke quietly. Without malice. Just spoke. We lost a place again. We leave again. She swept her gaze over everyone, but we lost no one. This is more important than a place. Silence. Ji-hun, Era pronounced. His name for the first time. Not human, a name. What next? Everyone is watching, Wang Chun thought. 3 months of work lost, walls destroyed. Domes will fall to the crans. But technologies are not lost. Knowledge in heads. Sail knows how to weave ropes. Vur knows how to read roots. Terry understands the principle of the pulley. Everyone knows how to lay stone correctly. The place is lost. The people are not. This is not the end. This is another starting point. We build again, he said, but differently. How differently, Sail? There, he pointed at the rock labyrinth farther west. There is a place where we have not been yet. Vur, do you know it? Vur nodded. It is harder to get there. Narrow passages. Good. Good for us. Bad for the Krans. Wang Chun looked at the group. We build there, but we build differently. Not only walls, we make traps. We make more passages so there is always somewhere to leave. We make supplies in 3 places, not 1. Traps how, Terry? Her voice even, no longer childish. A stone that hangs over a passage. When an enemy enters, the stone falls, or a rope across the path at the bottom. The enemy catches on it, slows down. A rope underwater is not visible, Terry slowly. If painted the color of the bottom? Exactly, Wang Chun said. Terry nodded, already thinking about the details. He saw it in her eyes. She would soon be 8. In 10 years, she will build better than me. Ira stood as much as one can stand in water. We go. We will find a place. We build again? Again, Wang Chun confirmed. The new bay turned out to be better than the old one. Ver had not exaggerated. Getting there was difficult. The rock labyrinth before the entrance took more than an hour of careful swimming. 3 times they passed through cracks where they had to turn sideways. But the bay itself was large. Significantly larger than the first. 3 levels of bottom-like terraces. Rock walls on 4 sides. Above, a wide cleft through which light came. Not a narrow crack, a full opening. About 4 meters wide. Through it, open water above. Probably sky. Air. Natural ventilation. No need to build a dome for air. There is already space above water here. If the water surface inside the bay rises to the level of the cleft, and apparently it does, then the upper part of the bay is air. He rose. His head came out of the water. Air, real, salty, but air. Took slime off his head. It crawled back displeased. Wait. He looked around. The upper part of the bay was like a large room, the ceiling about 3 meters above the water surface. Stone walls. Dry. Relatively. Here one can live. Truly live. Not hang in water, sit. Lie. Breathe without slime. He dived back. Sail. Rise upward. Why, just rise. Sail surfaced beside him, looked around, was silent for a long time. Here? Air, she said. Yes, a lot of air. Yes, Tian can. Be here, above water. Yes? Sail looked at the stone walls, at the ceiling, at the reflection of the water below. This is better than the cave, she said. Much. Sail dived. Wang Chun heard her speaking with the others, then several voices at once, then quiet. Then all 31 Tians surfaced in the air chamber. Terry spun around, looked at everything at once. We live here? If you like it, I like it. Without a pause. Aira aside, looked upward through the cleft. The sky is there, blue. Distant. Jihun, she called. He swam up. This place is good. She spoke slowly, but the Crans will find it again, sooner or later. I know. What then? Then we meet them here, on our terms. Wang Chun looked at the walls. One entrance into the labyrinth is narrow. We know the route. They do not. Traps in the labyrinth? Here walls. Spare exits. He looked at Aira. We cannot defeat them with numbers, but we can make capturing us unprofitable, at too high a cost. Is too high a cost enough? Usually, yes. When the cost of capture is higher than the benefit, captors look for an easier target. Aira thought, how much time? Half a year minimum. A year is better. And you will stay all this time. Wang Chun looked at the water, at the reflections of light in it. Where would he go? Nowhere. Wang Chun died in Busan over the drawings of a breakwater. Here he builds real walls for real people against a real threat. A marine engineer, in the literal sense. I will stay, he said. 4 months, the bay transformed. Not in one day. Every day something was added, something improved. The air chamber above became residential. The first thing they did was smooth the stone protrusions, removed the sharp edges, created platforms where one could sit, then something like shelves in the wall, to store things. Then the first mats, from seaweed fiber, stiff but better than bare stone. Terry slept on a mat and said it was the best thing she had felt in her life. Nie cried, quietly. Once. Wang Chun saw, did not show that he saw. 3 years in an underwater cave, and now lying on something soft in air. This is not a small thing. The traps in the labyrinth were built carefully, slowly. The principle, a rope across a passage. Invisible at the bottom, dark, the bottom covered with ripples. If touched, it releases a weight above. A stone falls. Does not kill, but stuns. And noise. A signal that someone has come. 12 traps in the labyrinth. Sail turned out to be a master of camouflage. Covered the ropes with a layer of fine sand and seaweed. Invisible. How do you do that? Rhea asked. I look at how the bottom looks, Sale explained. Then I make it the same. Mimicry. A natural instinct put to the service of construction. A good example of how local skills are more important than theory. Wang Chun built, but the further it went, the more he understood that he was not building alone. He was direction. The others were hands, eyes, ideas. Vur knew the rocks better than any map. Suggested places for traps that Wang Chun had not thought of. Sale wove ropes and nets. Came up with how to use a net like a cloak in a passage. The enemy flies in, gets tangled, loses time. Terry came every day with a new question that turned out to be a good idea. Suggested making marks on stones in the labyrinth, small ones, noticeable only to those who know where to look. Navigation for their own. An internal navigation system, standard engineering practice. An 8-year-old child reinvented it in one evening, 5 months. The scouts brought news. Rhea, the fastest of the observers, returned from the plateau. Excited. On the plateau, too. Not Kranz, Tian. Everyone froze. How do you know they are Tian, Ira? I know them. It is Rain and Mika. The two who did not get out of the first cave. Who were taken by the cranes. Long silence. Alive, Wang Chun said. Alive. Alone. Without cranes nearby. Left, or were released, or escaped. Need to meet them, Sile? Aira thought. For a long time. It may be a trap. Cranes may use them. To lead us here, a hard choice, logic, caution. Heart, meet their own. 2 will go out to meet them, Wang Chun said. Meet on the plateau. Make sure they are alone. Real? No cranes. If clean, bring them. If not, return through the labyrinth. Cranes will not pass. Aira nodded. Vur and Rhea left, returned 2 hours later. With them, 2. Rain was elderly, lost weight, something heavy in her eyes. But alive. Mika young. Her arm was held incorrectly, had healed incorrectly. The Tian met them quietly, without shouting, simply surrounded them, touched them with hands. In Tian, this meant a lot. Ira embraced Rain for a long time. The first time Wang Chun had seen Ira hugging someone. For 3 years, those they had lost, she had not hugged, held herself. Now she could. Wang Chun aside, did not interfere. This was their moment. Terry pulled him by the hand. Xi, do you see? I see. Because you did not abandon us then. In the first bay. Helped us run. Terry looked straight. If you had run away then, we would have lost a place again and had nothing. But now we have here. And now they returned. We did it all together, Wang Chun said. No, Terry, seriously. You began. The rest, yes, together. But you began. 8 years old. Where does this come from at 8? Go, he said. Greet them. Terry swam away. Wang Chun looked at the group. 33 now, a small number, but growing. 6 months. Rain told about life in the Kran settlement. A lot. Krans are not just aggressors, they had their own order. Hierarchy, Chief Darax, adult, experienced. Ruled through strength. Slaves among the Krans worked, built, hunted under supervision. There are others there, Rain said. Not only Tian. 3 more tribes that were captured. Altogether about 100 slaves. Wang Chun listened carefully. How are they guarded? 5 guards constantly, at night 3. They are sure no one will escape, there is truly nowhere to go. Rain spoke evenly. Mika and I left because I knew these waters. We left when a guard was distracted. They did not chase us for long. I think they decided we would die. What did the slaves build? Different things. Settlement walls. Fish pens. Rain stopped. Darax saw your masonry. In our old cave, they found remains. Did not understand how it was done. Got angry. So he saw. So he is searching. That is why 20 Krans came for us, Wang Chun said. They need someone who knows how to build. Yes, Rain. They want to build better. Derek said the one who knows how to build such walls will live well. Not as a slave. Interesting, Wang Chun thought. An enemy who wants not to kill but to hire is a different enemy. One can talk with such an enemy, theoretically, but cannot trust. Karan Dost's father died at negotiations. Negotiations are also a weapon that can kill. Carefully. He went to Aira. I have an idea, he said. First listen, then say what you think. Aira waited. The Krans want the one who builds. That means they have a need. A need is a lever. Not now, we are weaker. But after time, if the Tian grow, if we have something to offer besides fear. You want to talk with the crayons. Not now. In a year maybe, or two, when we have strength. To speak from a position of strength, not slavery. Era was silent for a long time. Derex will kill the envoy, she said. Then not an envoy. Something else. Show them what we can build and that they can get it without war. How to show without meeting. Good question, I do not know yet, honestly. When you know, tell me, Era said. 7 months. Food. This is a constant task. 33 mouths every day. Hunting on the plateau worked, but depended on the presence or absence of crayons. Unstable. Need our own food. Independent from hunting outside. Aquaculture. Wang Chun knew the principle not as a farmer, as an engineer who had designed coastal structures and seen fish farms. A pen. A closed space where fish live and reproduce. You take as much as needed, the rest continues to live and produce. Not hunting. Farming, he explained to Era. She listened. Fish will not live in a pen, she said. Fish swim. If closed, they die. Only if the pen is small. If large enough, they live. Water passes through the walls, there is current. Fish breathe. Eat seaweed inside, breed. Where does the fish in the pen come from at first? We bring it alive, by hand, or drive it in with a net, sail nearby. Listened. Nodded slowly, with a net, possible. We know how to make a driving net. Then we build a pen. Large. By the eastern wall of the bay, the current is weak there. Fish like calm water, Era thought. How long to build? A week for the base. Then refine it. Good. Build. The pen was built from 2 materials, stone pillars around the perimeter, the base. Between the pillars, a net of seaweed fiber, mesh small enough that the fish would not leave, large enough that water passed freely. Sail came up with this herself. Wang Chun only stated the task. She found the solution, a good sign. People begin solving problems themselves. Do not wait to be told how. On the 8th day, the pen was ready. They drove fish with the net cheerfully and chaotically. Several Tian laughed. The fish darted around. Terry accidentally released half the net at once. They teased her for several days after. In the end, there were about 40 fish of different sizes in the pen. The first week, they only observed. The fish did not die. Got used to it. Began eating the seaweed that had been specially planted inside. In the 3rd week, the first clutch of eggs. Terry ran to shout about this into the air chamber in the middle of the night. Wang Chun woke up. Eggs, gee, eggs in the pen. Terry, night, eggs? Morning, but morning, Terry. She left, indignant, but left. In the morning, they looked at the eggs together. Small transparent dots on a stone in the corner of the pen. The first generation born in the pen. The first step toward an independent food source. Ira looked for a long time, then said something quietly in Tian. Very quietly to herself. What did she say? Sale asked quietly. She said, we are beginning to live. 8 months. Wang Chun once caught himself thinking in Tian. Not translating from Korean, thinking directly in their language. This is a boundary. After it, there is no longer I among them. After it, I am one of them. Different, but together. Terry began teaching him back. His knowledge. Not by request. Herself. Came with questions, but not only why now. Began coming with sheets of thin stone where she scratched drawings. Showed them to Wang Chun. This is the new entrance into the labyrinth. Look, I made it like this because here the current, fish will not go there and the crayons will not notice. Wang Chun looked at the drawing. 8 years old. The drawing was rough, but the logic was correct. She takes into account the current and the behavior of sea creatures as a factor of camouflage. This is no longer a child who asks. This is the beginning of engineering thinking. Good drawing, he said. But the current changes. Remember Ver talked about the seasonal current? Terry remembered. If the current changes, the camouflage stops working? In half a year, yes. Then 2 entrances are needed. One for one season, one for the other. She came to the conclusion herself, without a hint. Wang Chun was silent for a second. Correct. Terry beamed, ran away to revise it. Ni swam up to him. She has become different, she said. A good different. Yes, Ni looked after her daughter. Before, in the cave, she simply existed. Saturday. Looked at the walls. I was afraid she would remain a child who does not know that the world is big. Stopped. Now she thinks the world needs to be remade. The world needs to be remade, Wang Chun agreed. Where did she get that from in you? Where from? Wang Chun was a marine engineer. His whole life he built what did not exist. A breakwater, a platform, a pipeline underwater. Every time a place that had been unsuitable for life became suitable. That is the essence of the profession. The world needs to be remade. It is not mine, he said. Everyone has it. There is just not always a place where it can be done. Nia thought. You gave her a place, she said. We gave it, Wang Chun said. 9 months. The season changed. The water became colder, the currents different. The fish on the plateau went deeper. Hunting more difficult. But the pen worked. The first fish from the pen went for food. Carefully, not many. They left enough so the herd would not decrease. The cold brought another problem. In the air chamber it became colder. Wind through the cleft. Not deadly, but unpleasant. Especially for the children and the old people. Dar coughed. The second old man, Gior, slept badly. Warmth. Warmth is needed in the air chamber. There is fire in the dome underwater. But heat from it does not rise into the chamber effectively. A pipe is needed, a channel through which hot air goes from the dome into the chamber. A primitive heating system. Hypocaust, an ancient Roman principle. Hot air under the floor and through channels in the walls. Underwater it is harder, but the principle is the same. He thought for 3 days. Drew on stone, redid it. Dome with fire below. Hot air is lighter than cold air. It rises. If a pipe is made of vertical channel, hot air will go upward, into the chamber. A pipe made of stone. No mortar, dry masonry, but it can be made dense. Terry immediately came to him when she saw the drawing. This is a pipe? Yes. Hot air goes upward? Yes. And cold air back down through another pipe? Convection. She intuitively understood the principle of the convection cycle. Exactly. 2 pipes are needed, up and down. Then the air will keep moving all the time? Yes, constantly. Terry took a piece of stone for drawing. I will draw how better to run the pipes. Along the wall here, the stone is thinner there. Easier to make. Wang Chun looked. How do you know where the stone is thinner? I knock simply. Listen to the sound. Thin rings differently. Acoustic probing. A method geologists use. She invented it herself. At 8 years old. They built the pipes together. Terry directed where to pierce the holes. Wang Chun how to lay the pipe stones. After 5 days the system worked. It was warmer in the air chamber, noticeably. Dar stopped coughing after a day. Geor slept normally. Terry sat by the pipe outlet, held her hand over the warm stream of air. Warmth is coming, she said. I feel it. Yes? Ji. She raised her gaze. Did we make this? Mostly you. No. You came up with the principle. You came up with where to make it. That is more important, Terry thought. Then together, she decided. Together, he agreed. 10 months. Sail came to him late at night when everyone was asleep. Not into the air chamber, into the water nearby, hung by the edge of the ledge. Not sleeping, she said. No, me too. They were silent. The water rustled. Ji, Sail said. Do you ever think about what was before? Every day. Do you miss it? Does he miss it? Wang Chun. Seoul. Apartment on the 6th floor. Work until 3 in the morning. Coffee he did not have time to finish. Breakwater drawings? No one close, divorced long ago, no children. Parents died earlier. Colleagues good people, but not close. Whom to miss? Work a little, he said. What I built there. Big things. Complex. And here are you not building big things? Here's more important. Sail was silent. Why more important? Because there I built for ports, for cargo, for money that other people earn. Wang Chun looked at the water. Here I build for people I know. I see how Dar stopped coughing when we made warmth. I see how Terry thinks. It is different. Sail was silent for a long time. You will stay, she said. Not a question, a statement. Yes. Forever. Probably. Pause. Good, Sail said. Wang Chun looked at her. There was something in her voice. Not just approval, something personal. He had noticed this before. Gradually. As you notice, when something changes slowly, you do not see the moment, only the result. Sail. Yes, you were the first who helped me. There in the cave. I remember. Why then? You did not know me, Sail thought. Because you looked at the cave as a task, not as a prison. Quietly, everyone saw walls. You saw what could be changed. That is professional deformation. I do not know what that is, but I like it. They were silent for a long time. A good silence? The kind that does not need to be filled. Sure, Sail finally said. Yes, you are different. Not Tian. Another creature. She spoke slowly, but I stopped noticing it. Long ago, I only noticed that you are you. Wang Chun looked at the water. Wang Chun, 41 years old, died alone at a desk. Here he lives. Me too, he said. Sail touched his hand. Not for long. Then removed her hand. Good night, Ji. Good night, Sail. Dived. Swam away. Wang Chun lay and looked at the cleft in the ceiling. Through it, several stars, distant, cold, real, another world, another sky. But stars are the same everywhere, or seem the same. It does not matter. Slime pulsed on his shoulder, warm, familiar. Wang Chun closed his eyes. A year. Exactly a year since the day Wang Chun opened his eyes underwater and could not breathe. Marking it by local counting was difficult. The Tian did not have an exact calendar. But he counted himself. 20 years of practice had taught him to keep count of time. A year. He looked at what had changed. 33 Tian, all alive, all fed in warmth. Air chamber with heating. 3 fish pens, the third completed a month ago. 12 traps in the labyrinth. Double wall at the entrance to the bay. Observation system, 4 observers by schedule. Accurate map. All cran routes marked. Seasonal changes noted, not wealth, but life. Real, active life, not survival in darkness. Terry brought him a stone. Happy day you came to us, she said. An inscription on the stone, in Tian signs. What is here? The one who brought fire underwater, Terry read. That is you. We say that now. The one who brought fire underwater. Of all the definitions he had heard in 2 lives, he liked this one most. Thank you, Terry. I did not make it up, she said. It was Era. Wang Chun looked at Era, who sat by the edge of the water aside. Era noticed the look, nodded briefly. That was enough. 1 year and 1 month. The scouts brought something new, not a threat. Something else. Strangers on the plateau, not Krons. Others, a small group. 5, hiding by the rocks. Ver described them, scales lighter than the Tians. Tail of a different shape, an unfamiliar tribe. They did not attack, Ver said. Looked at us. Left when they saw that we noticed them. Wang Chun thought. Hiding from the Krans, most likely. Like we hid. Ira listened. We do not know who they are? We do not know, Wang Chun agreed. But they are hiding. That is already something in common. They may be dangerous. Maybe. 5 against 33, unlikely. Wang Chun looked at the map. Ira. I want to try to meet them. Carefully. Why? Because we are not the only ones the Krons are pressing. If we find others who also want to live free, together we are stronger. Long silence. You will go yourself, Era said. Me and Sail. And Ver, she saw them, knows the place. 3 people. More will frighten them, Era thought. Good. But a signal. If you do not return by the next dawn, we do not go after you. This is not cruelty. This is a rule. A correct rule, Wang Chun agreed. Plateau. Rock edge where the strangers had been seen. Long, nothing. Then movement in the shadow of a rock. Wang Chun froze. Ver and Sail nearby. From the shadow 1, cautious. Hands visible, empty. They looked at each other. The stranger was definitely not Tian. Light scales. Younger, probably about 20. Attentive eyes, spoke. An unfamiliar language. Wang Chun understood nothing. The stranger tried again. Other words. Clearly looking for a language they would understand. He knows several languages, or is used to communicating with different tribes. Sail said something. Slowly. In Tian with the addition of some other words. The stranger perked up, answered. Not exactly Tian, but similar, like a dialect. Closely related languages. Sail translated to Wang Chun. Slowly, she herself did not understand everything. The essence, 5 of them, fled from the Krons 2 months ago, looking for a place. Food almost ran out. Where are they from? Wang Chun asked. Sale asked. The answer, from the east. From a settlement the Krans captured half a year ago. The Krans are expanding, quickly. Tell them we have a place. Food, relatively safe. Wang Chun looked at the stranger. But rules. Our rules apply to them too. Sale translated. The stranger listened. For a long time, then turned to the rocks. Called. The other 4 came out. 2 women, 2 men, one of the men large. Looked at Wang Chun with open surprise, said something. Sale with difficulty, asks what you are. Human, Wang Chun said. Sale translated. The large one answered something. Says humans from the surface drown underwater. Usually yes, Wang Chun agreed. I am an exception. They brought them into the bay. Ira met them warily. Looked at the 5 for a long time. The large one was called Dern. Spoke for everyone. The conversation through Sale was long, difficult. The languages were similar but did not match. They agreed on the following. The 5 stay, eat from the pen, work as the Tian work. Follow the rules. If everything is well after a month, they stay further. Dern agreed, without long thought. A hungry person on the run agrees to reasonable conditions quickly. At night, the Tian gathered in the air chamber. Wang Chun lay aside, listened. They talked about the strangers. Cautiously. Not maliciously, cautiously. Terry did not say a word against, simply asked, Does Dern know how to do anything useful? We do not know yet. We need to ask tomorrow. Pragmatic. 8 years old. Era at the end of the conversation looked at Wang Chun. You think this is right? I think it is right to build something bigger than 33 people, he said. 38 is better? 50 is better? 100 is better. There were 100 Tian before. The Krans destroyed them. 100 scattered ones they destroyed. 100 together is another matter. Era was silent. You think far ahead. I try. That is good, she said, but do not forget about today. I do not forget. The morning after. Terry to Dern, directly, without preliminaries. Sale translated. What do you know how to do? Dern looked at the child, surprised. Then at Wang Chun. She is often like that, Wang Chun said. Dern smirked. Hunter. I know how to read water, currents, depths. I find fish, navigator and hunter, useful. What else, Terry? Terry Wang Chun. What? It is important to know. I know how to make poison from blue jellyfish, Dern said. For tips, it stuns. Very useful. What else? Terry. Gee, this is important. Enough. Wang Chun looked at Dern. You know how to read currents. We have a task. Map. I want to put the currents on it in detail. Will you help? Dern looked at the map. For a long time. Took a stone for drawing. Began adding lines. Confidently, he knows. In an hour, the map became much more accurate. One person with the right knowledge turns a good map into an excellent one. Terry sat nearby and watched Dern draw. Then quietly to Wang Chun. He is good. Yes, can I teach him to build? If he wants. Ask, Wang Chun asked Dern. He thought, why should I build? I'm a hunter. Because a hunter who knows how to build traps is the best hunter, Wang Chun said. Dern smirked again. That is true. Then teach. Terry immediately. I will teach. I already know how. Dern looked at the 8-year-old child. You? I built the pipes for warmth, calmly, and the system with ropes in the labyrinth, and helped with the second wall. Dern looked at Wang Chun. Is that true? True. Something in Dern's face changed. Respect? Real. Good, he said to Terry. Teach. 1 year and 3 months. Dern kept his promise. Showed how to extract poison from the blue jellyfish. Small, the size of a fist. Lives in deep cracks of the rocks. Not aggressive if not disturbed. Poison in the tentacles. If applied to a sharp object, it stuns on contact. Does not kill. Paralyzes for several minutes. Non-lethal weapon. Exactly what is needed. The Tian are not killers. They do not want to kill. They want to protect themselves. Wang Chun watched the extraction process. With the sharp end of a shell, remove poison from the tentacles. Store in a tightly closed shell. In air, it loses strength quickly. In water, it lasts longer. How long does it work? 5 minutes usually. Less on a large one. On a crane? I do not know. Never tried on cranes, but they are larger. 3 minutes maybe. 3 minutes is enough to leave. If a trap triggers and the enemy is paralyzed, 3 minutes of a head start. Can be applied to the ropes in the labyrinth, Wang Chun said. Dern stopped. To the ropes? If an enemy touches the rope, he touches the poison too. Skin contact with poison paralyzes, Dern thought. This is smart, he said slowly. This is your poison and my rope, Wang Chun said. Better together. Dern nodded. 2 women from his group, Lei and Tana, turned out to be experienced in harvesting jellyfish. They began preparing poison systematically. The ropes in the labyrinth were treated. The traps became active. Terry was present during the treatment. Asked about the chemistry of the poison at the level of her understanding. Dern answered. Gradually, they found a common language despite the difference in age and origin. A curious child and an experienced hunter. A strange pair. But it works. 1 year and 4 months, at night, signal. The observers gave notice of movement in the labyrinth. Not outside, inside the labyrinth. Someone entered. The Tian quiet. No panic. In a year they had learned. Children and old people into the air chamber. Close the stone door. The rest into the water. To positions. Wang Chun to Dern. He was already ready. In his hands a sharp shell with poison. 20 adult Tian plus 5 from Dern's group. 25. A good position in a familiar place. They waited. Darkness, silence. Then a trap worked in the labyrinth. The sound of a falling stone. Then a second. Then nothing. For a long time. Era gesture. 2 experienced ones, Ver and Dern, into the labyrinth. Carefully. The rest wait. They waited long. Ver returned. 1, she said. Cran. Young. Hit 2 traps. Poison worked. Lying. Alive? Yes, will come to himself soon. Era looked at Wang Chun. Moment of choice. Cannot kill. This was their position. Let go, he will leave. Tell where the settlement is. Take prisoner, feed, guard. Let go, Wang Chun said. Everyone looked at him. He came alone. A scout, he explained. If he does not return, they will send more. If he returns and says he found the place, but traps, poison, 25 defenders, the Krons will calculate that attacking is unprofitable. Or send 50, Era. Then negotiations, Wang Chun said calmly. You were talking about negotiations again, yes? Because we cannot fight the Krans with numbers. Ever. There are more of them and they are physically stronger. But we can make attacking us more expensive than leaving us alone. Silence. Letting one go gives a signal. We are here. We are not weak. We are difficult, he continued. This is a message. This is Ira thought for a long time. Good. The Kron was dragged to the edge of the labyrinth. Young, about 20. Looked at them with a still cloudy gaze. The poison was leaving. Wang Chun swam up. You found us, he said slowly in Tian. The Kron might not understand, but it was worth trying. We live here. We are not enemies if we are not touched. The Kron looked. Tell Darax. He knew the chief's name from Rain. Say, they will not leave. They know how to build traps. They know how to defend themselves. The Kron said something. Unclear. Dern nearby. Listened closely. He asks who you are. Human. A human among mermaids. This surprises him. The one who lives here, Wang Chun said. Turned away. Left. The Kron was released into the labyrinth. He left. The Tian watched after him. Terry came out of the chamber. Approached Wang Chun. Gee, will he really tell Darax? Most likely. And Darax will not send more? I do not know. Maybe he will send again. But now they will think twice. And if they come with 50, then we will speak with them. They do not speak. Everyone speaks, Wang Chun said. If there is something to offer... Looked at her. Remember I said that the ability to build is what Darax wants? His slaves build poorly. We build well. This is our trump card. What is a trump card? Something that makes our position strong in a conversation, Terry thought. Understood. Pause. Gee, you always think about negotiations. Yes? Why do you not think about defeating the Crans? Because victory over them gives nothing. Derex will be killed, another Derex will come, the Crans will not disappear. He looked at her. But if the Crans understand that being friends with us is more profitable than fighting, then everything changes, not for 1 year, forever. Terry was silent for a long time. This is harder than winning. Much harder. Can you do it? I am learning, honestly. Terry nodded. I will learn too, I know. 1 year and 5 months. Wang Chun sat by a large flat stone. Drew. Not a map and not a blueprint, something else. Tian signs. He adapted them, added several symbols that were missing. Simplified the existing ones for quick writing. Writing. The Tian had no writing. They had oral tradition. Everything they knew, they remembered, passed on with words. This is fragile. A person dies, and his knowledge dies if he did not pass it on in time. Writing fixes it. Knowledge lives longer than its bearer. Aira approached, watched him draw. What is this? A way to write down words. Signs that represent sounds. You connect the signs, get a word. He showed. This is your name. Aira. Aira looked at the signs. I am this. Yes, and if another person sees it, reads it. If taught, yes. Long silence. This is important, Aira said. Quietly. With weight. Yes. Very. How long does it take to learn to read? A month to begin. 3 months to read well. Teach everyone. Everyone? Everyone who wants. And whoever does not want, I will say that they should want. Mandatory education. Introduced by the decision of a leader, Aira did not miss the moment. They began the next day. The air chamber became a classroom. Flat stones, boards, sharp flint tools, chalk. Wang Chun taught. Terry grasped it in 3 days. Was reading already in a week. Unevenly, slowly, but reading. Dar, the old man. Looked at the signs, squinted, tried. Old eyes see small things badly, he said. Then we write larger, Wang Chun said. Dar began again, slowly, very slowly, but began. 80 years old, learning to write. This is one of the most important things that happened in the year. Dern mastered it quickly. To Wang Chun's surprise, did not seem the type. A hunter, a practical man. But Dern explained, I memorize roots. This is the same. Signs on the bottom. Landmarks. Just now signs on stone. Navigational thinking. Letters as coordinates. An interesting point of view. After 2 months, most Tian could read. Slowly, some better than others. Terry was already writing herself. Recording drawings in words, explaining principles. The first technical literature of the Tian. An 8-year-old author. Wang Chun looked at the stone with her notes. Rough signs, uneven in places, but correct. Accurate. Logically structured. In 20 years, someone great will come out of her. And she will not remember that it began with the question of why a lever works. 1 year and 7 months. Derex came himself, not with an army, with 10. This is a signal that he came to talk, not to fight. 10 guards, not an assault. The observers warned an hour ahead. An hour is enough to prepare. Aira to Wang Chun. You spoke about negotiations. I did. The moment has come. Yes. Are you ready? No, honestly, but more ready than a year ago. Aira nodded. You speak. I will be nearby. She trusts him with the negotiations. After a year. After everything. This is more than a stone with an inscription. They met at the entrance to the labyrinth. Outside. Derex was large. Older than Wang Chun had thought. About 50. Scars on his shoulders. Eyes intelligent. Quick. A smart opponent. That is better than a stupid aggressive one? With a smart one, an agreement is possible. He looked at Wang Chun for a long time. Spoke. Cran. Rain nearby. She had spent enough time with the Crans. Translated, he says, you are a human from the surface. What are you doing here? Living, Wang Chun answered. Like everyone else. Rain translated. Derax snorted. Said something, says a strange place for living. For a human. Suitable for me, Wang Chun said. I have a home here. Family. Derax looked around. At the Tian standing aside. At Wang Chun again. Asked, you built those walls in the first cave. Our scouts saw, me and the Tian together. You know how to build underwater? Yes, pause. Derax thought. My slaves build poorly. Walls fall. Fish pens leak, he spoke directly. Without complaints. I need someone who knows how. Here it is, a business conversation. He came not for the tian, he came for a skill. I can help you build better, Wang Chun said, on one condition. Rain translated. Darax waited. The tian are free, all of them, here and in your settlement. Those who want to leave, leave. Those who want to stay, stay as free people, not slaves. Darax was silent for a long time. Expected reaction. This is a big demand. Much, he said. This is one demand, not much. Slaves work, free people work better. I saw this where I came from. A person who works out of fear does the minimum. A person who works for himself does the maximum, Darax thought. Then, and will you yourself come build for us? No, but I will send those who know how. Tian, if they themselves want to, for fair payment. What payment? Food, safety, access to territory without pursuit. Wang Chun looked straight ahead. We do not want to fight the Crans. Never wanted to. We want to live. Let us live. Get builders who know how. Long silence. Darax looked at Wang Chun. In that gaze, something was being calculated. Benefit against loss of authority. Practice against tradition. The Tian who are in my settlement. You will ask them yourself whether they want to leave. Whoever wants to leave will leave. Whoever wants to stay remains free. Darax spoke slowly. In exchange, your builders come to us. 3 times a year, help build. Not everything he asked for, but a step. A big step. Rain and Mika, Wang Chun added. They left you. Do not pursue them. Darax paused. Then, we will not pursue. Wang Chun looked at him. The young Kron who had been released from the trap told Darax the truth. Here they know how to defend themselves. Traps. Poison. 25 fighters. Attacking is expensive. Darax calculated. Decided it was cheaper to make an agreement. A smart opponent. Agreed, Wang Chun said. Rain translated. Darax nodded. In Kron fashion, he touched his shoulder. A sign of agreement. Wang Chun touched his own shoulder in response. He had remembered this from Rain's story, the Kron gesture of making an agreement. Darax looked at him with something like respect. A person who learns foreign customs is a respectful person, for any people. Turned around, left with the 10. Ira swam up to Wang Chun, was silent for a long time. You did this. We did this, he corrected. No. Ira looked into his eyes. You began. A year ago. In the first cave. When you decided to help us instead of running. That moment. The attack. The exit through the crack in the ceiling. He could have swum away. Could have searched for the surface. Could have left. Did not leave. I was not going anywhere, Wang Chun said simply. There was somewhere to go here. Ira looked for a long time. Then touched his shoulder. Not in the Kron way. In the Tian way, a different gesture. Closer. Gratitude that does not need words. 2 years. The Bay lived. 47 Tian and allies. From the Kron settlement, 8 returned, those who wanted to. The rest stayed free as agreed. 3 fish pens, 4 domes with fire. Heating in the air chamber. 2 levels of walls. Labyrinth with 20 traps. All adults knew writing. Children learned from birth. Detailed map. Covered territory within 3 days' travel from the Bay. Terry, 9 years old. Taught Dern to build arches. Patiently, methodically. Dern listened without offense that the teacher was younger. Knowledge has no age. Sail wove nets of a new construction. Wang Chun proposed the principle, she improved it. Her version held twice as much. That is always how it is. Principle, a starting point. Local experience, improvement. The fish pen, the first generation had grown. The second had already been born and was growing. This means there is enough food, with reserve. Dar, the old man, sat in the air chamber and taught children Tian history. Oral for now. But Terry wrote it down. Every day. When Dar dies, his knowledge will not die. This may be the most important thing of everything they did. In the evening, Wang Chun sat by the cleft in the ceiling. Looked at the sky. Blue. Dark. Stars. Slime on his shoulder, pulsing. 2 years together. Sail beside him, already familiar. Like many other things had become familiar. What are you thinking about? She asked. About the breakwater, Wang Chun said. What is that? Where I am from, I built large walls in the sea, so that waves would not destroy ports. He looked at the stars. The last drawing remained unfinished. Do you regret it? He thought. Wang Chun, marine engineer, died alone at his desk. Someone else will finish that breakwater, or not finish it. The sea exists without a breakwater, but these people, this bay, Terry who thinks like an engineer, Era who leads her people with dignity, sail beside him, the fish pen, fire underwater. Writing that had not existed. None of this would exist without him. Exactly. No, he said. No? That breakwater was for ships, he said. This one is for people. Sail was silent, then placed her head on his shoulder. Slime displeasedly crawled to the other shoulder. Wang Chun laughed quietly, for the first time in a long time. Simply laughed, without a reason, because it was good. The stars shone through the cleft. The bay lived below, quiet, warm, filled.